Hello, this is SJ Talks and Life coming back at you with another video. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please, and thank you. Um, it's Christmas Eve. Out to the store. Stores are packed. They is packed. So, um, I got me a free turkey, so I'm gonna hook that up and just a little simple, basic dinner. That's all I'm doing. I don't really celebrate Christmas that much, so I got a free turkey, so I'm gonna hook that up and a little bit. So I'm at the store getting some last minute stuff. I'm gonna have a little something, a little dinner. Um, anyways, anywho, hope that you hot guys have a blessed holiday, um, and everything. And if you are celebrating Christmas, remember Jesus is the reason for the season. Anywho, I want to talk about um, single motherhood. I did a video about Strong Mommy Chrissy doing a pregnancy test for baby number 10. I played the little clip. Turns out she's expecting baby number 10. And I'm not trying to be judgmental. I follow her and My Jazzy Life is one of my two favorite YouTubers. One of them, lives life. I don't really watch her much, maybe here and there. But I've been following the three mommies, mostly Jazz and Chrissy, for the last few years and everything. And these dogs over here barking. Let me roll up the window. I don't know what them dogs barking in that car for. And I've been following them for a while, and it just concerns me that I know they're content creators and everything like that, and I get it. I don't know if they're getting pregnant for views. I don't know. Um, and I know that Strong Mommy Chrissy has 200,000 subscribers. And I know that, their income is largely dependent on um, their YouTube revenue. And I get it. I get it. I get it. And, people start thinking about creative ways that they can pull in more viewers and things like that. I think I'd rather, you know, to do something. I don't know. I think I'd rather relocate or something than to do something a drastic life change like that. The ship has sailed for me. I can't have no more. But and even if I could, I wouldn't. But but I want to talk about single motherhood. Being a baby mama. That's what I want to talk about. Being a baby mama, particularly if you're a black woman, being a baby mama is not a flex. Being a baby mama multiple times, and please don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. Because people like to take things out of context. I'm not on here to judge. I'm the last person that should be judging somebody because I got two kids, never married. Okay, so I'm not on here to judge. I'm not coming from a place of judgment. But I think I've lived on this earth long enough to where I've learned some things, made some mistakes in my life, and I've learned some things. I think I've, in my mid 50s, and I've lived long enough to learn some things, okay? And, made some mistakes and learn from those mistakes. So now I can pass the wisdom and the knowledge on to my younger sisters. Sisters of all races, not just black sisters, but sisters of all races. Because, at the end of the day, we're all brothers and sisters um, in God's eyes. But I'm particularly going to narrow it down to black single mothers because it's more detrimental when black women become single mothers. It's more detrimental for us. Um, it's being a black single mother is not a flex. First of all, it's a stigma. It's a huge stigma for a black woman to be a single mother. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that Unfortunately, I didn't realize how much of a stigma it was until after I had my youngest son, on down the road. But it's a huge stigma, and mainly until I got into social media more. But it's a huge stigma. It's a huge stigma for black women to become single mothers. It's a huge stigma. Because we're already the most stereotyped race of women on the planet. We're the most stigmatized and stereotyped race of women on the planet. So it's the stigmatization, and I think I did a video a long time ago talking about that. The stigmatization of black single motherhood is a huge stigma. And I always highly recommend that black women don't get themselves in that position if you can help it. If you can help it. And sometimes, you might have gotten married, you got a divorce, or your husband passed away, and then you became a single mother by default. But and unfortunately, I was reading in a comment section of somebody's video. Oh, it was the Sovereign Woman. The Sovereign Woman. She's a childless YouTuber on here. I was reading in her comment section. Somebody said, oh, she was talking about the only way to avoid being a single mom is not having kids. Period. Whether you're married or not. And so that's what she was saying. And somebody came in her comment section and was like, I got married. She said she got married and her husband died. And hence she became a single mother because her husband died. And she said people still talk about her. She said people still trash her for being a single mother. Go figure. So it doesn't seem to matter because us black women are so stigmatized and stereotyped. It doesn't matter how we became single mothers. It's even more of a stigma if you're unmarried, you've never been married, and you become a single mother. Of course, it's even more of a stigmatization, and it's more of a judgment. You get more of a judgment, and you're looked down upon more when you are black and you're a single mother and you never married, and particularly by more than one father. So that's the downside. The downside to that. The downside, you're judged way more harshly when you didn't marry. I know I've been over the years have been judged a lot more harshly because I didn't marry and had my kids. So the judgment is definitely harsher. Is what it is. Is what it is. Particularly since I've been here on YouTube. But it's very detrimental. And I just hate to see young black women, going down that road, having child after child, not marrying, not getting married, and more than one father. Because it's first of all, it's a vicious cycle in our community with all our children growing up without fathers. It's really detrimental for black children. Statistically, black children that are raised in single parent homes, particularly young black males, they're most likely to not graduate from high school. My oldest son didn't graduate from high school. My youngest son almost didn't graduate. I'm going to cut to the chase. I don't just keep it real with everybody else. I keep it real with me too. My oldest son didn't graduate. My youngest son almost didn't graduate. I had to make some moves to get him graduated like 3 months before, that's a long story. But by the grace of God, I got him graduated. But he almost didn't graduate. I mean, to make a long story short, there was an alternative high school next to the other high school. He wasn't getting the credits in the main high school. So the alternative high school next to it, I had to hurry up and get him in there so they can, so he could, he had to plug away for 3 months, and then he graduated. To make a long story short, statistically, young black males that are raised in single parent homes are most likely to wind up in the um, prison system. You know, there's a high percentage of black males in the prison system right now as I speak that grew up without fathers in the home. Okay. Black males have a low college enrollment rate. Black women have a higher college enrollment rate, but black males have a lower college enrollment rate. Maybe those enrollment rates were probably higher if they had a father in the home. Okay. Um, Statistically, young black males without a father in the home are most likely to die by gun violence. As a result of gun violence, they're most likely to be involved in a gang, particularly in some of your major cities. Okay. Young girls that are raised in young black girls that are raised in single parent homes are more likely to become single teenage mothers, are most likely to become teenage mothers. These are statistical facts. These are statistical facts. Okay? These are statistical facts. So it's really, really detrimental when our children are born outside of marriage without the benefit of two mother and father in the home. I was looking at Chris Rock's documentary last night on Paramount TV. That's some great docs on there. I was looking at Paramount TV and I was watching Chris Rock's documentary, and he was like, he grew up in Brooklyn, and he was like, he grew up in a two-parent, he said, I grew up in a two-parent home, and it was like people was looking at us like really strange because I had a father in the home, and he said it was very rare in my community. And he said people was looking at him like he was like a dinosaur. Like, you got a father, you got two parents in the home, and look what he became. Look how successful he is, and his brothers are successful as well. So those statistics, it's so detrimental when black children, and most of the time, these black children are growing up in poor, in poverty. They're growing up in poor communities in cities, small, medium, and large across the country. So it's really, really detrimental when black women have children outside of marriage without the benefit of a husband, a stable father for the children, and they're doing it with more than one man. It's really, really detrimental, and it's really, really not a flex, and it's not cute. Um, we're our children are at a disadvantage. Our children are at a disadvantage because what happens most often than not, the black mothers have to struggle to raise the children by herself. And we all know that black women get blamed for every terrible thing that's happening in the community because we are expected to hold up the community. We are expected to raise stable children and all that when it requires two parents to raise children. So a lot is put on our shoulders. And so this is because of that. It is very, very important that black women don't do this. That black women don't go out and have children by multiple fathers and raising these children in a home without the benefit of a father in the home. It's a vicious cycle, and we need to change our mindset. We need to educate our young girls in elementary school. We need to educate them because they're getting pregnant young. And we need to educate them and educate our children educate our males, educate our children on the importance of strong families. We need strong families in the black communities. And it's a vicious cycle, and it's hard on being a single mother particularly if you have more than one father, if the father is not in the children's life, and you have to struggle financially. Like I've stated in other videos, it affects you as a woman. It affects you in all areas. It affects you physically, mentally, spiritually, if you let it. I'm gonna put that behind it. If you let it, because you need that spiritual strength to get you through it. But it affects you in all areas. It affects you in all areas. Because the years that I was a single mother, I suffered. I mean, sometimes I'd be driving home from work and I'd be in tears. It was a hard life. It was a hard life. And, my youngest son's dad was never there. He was never there. Okay? So I didn't have his support. My oldest son's dad was halfway there, but he wasn't there like he should have been. I wouldn't say go as far as to say that he was a total deadbeat, because he wasn't. But he wasn't there like he should have been. Okay? I was going to the parent-teacher conferences by myself. My oldest son didn't graduate from high school, but I think if his father had been more of a presence in his life, he probably would have. But my oldest son was having issues in school with focusing. Could have had ADD or whatever, but I didn't get him diagnosed. He always had problems with focusing in school. He didn't like school. So whenever there was a problem, or sometimes I would have to pop up on him, I was addressing the issues. His father only addressed the issues maybe a couple of times. I was addressing the issues. I was sitting there at the parent-teacher conferences, because me and my son's father a few years back had a discussion. He said, well, I thought I was there. I said, no, you wasn't there. Well, I thought I was there. I said, no, you wasn't. You wasn't there like you should have been. Every conference, I'm sitting there by myself, when both of us should have been sitting there. The only time that he was there was when they had to put my oldest son, because he got expelled from school one time. That's a long story. I ain't going into that. He got expelled from school one time, and he was out for some months. But when he went back, he had to go to this charter school, and in the back of that school they had a area for problem kids or whatever. Well, I didn't want him there. And we went to meet with the guy that was running it, and I just sat there and I cried. I just cried. I was in tears. I sat there and I cried because I did not want my son in there, but they had him there because that was the only option where he could be put after coming out of being expelled. Okay. And I think if his father was more present in his life, he wouldn't have had these issues. But I was finding myself having to always address these issues. Okay. So when I speak about single motherhood, I speak from experience. I'm not coming from a place of judgment. I'm speaking from experience. It's a hard life. And I don't want to see young black ladies go down that road. I mean, there was times where I would go to bed. I would be in tears. I would be in tears. Tears. Until this day, it still hurts me that my youngest son's dad is not in his life. And it still hurts me today. It'll probably hurt me until the day that I go and lay down in my grave. That pain will probably take me to the grave. Take me to the grave. Well, I mean, correction. I'll have the pain until the grave. It still hurts today. Okay? But I take responsibility For my part, I had in that situation, I didn't make a wise decision. Although my son is a blessing, I didn't make wise decisions in that situation, you know. So I take responsibility for that. I take it on the chin. But he's half my son, so he has a responsibility. He had a responsibility as well. You know, I womaned up, you know. And that's why I guess I'm an advocate for young ladies abstaining to marriage. Abstaining to marriage. Finding a suitable choose, as these black men like to say, choosing better, even if it means expanding your options. Choosing better. Choosing a stable father or someone, you know, there's no guarantees. I know that. Someone that's going to be there and that's going to have your back. That's going to be interested in being a blessed husband to you and a stable father for any children that you guys bring in the world. Because I don't want to see the sisters coming up behind me in that situation. I don't like to see them struggle like that. It's painful. It's hard when you're a single mother. We wasn't built for that. God didn't make us to be the head. We wasn't built for it. We wasn't built for it physically. We wasn't built for it mentally. It's a reason why God said get married first. It's a reason why, and because the men, the husband and the wife balance each other out. The mother and the father in the home balance each other out. The mother provides the nurturing, the father provides the discipline. And it's the father's responsibility to give the children spiritual instruction. It's his responsibility. It's the perfect balance. And so we have to teach our children better. We have to teach them better. We have to lead by example. But how can we teach them better when we ain't doing better? You know what I'm saying? We got to get ourselves together before we can teach our children, because it's a vicious cycle in our community. And this is the reason why we got these gangbangers and stuff out here. It's these young men. It's these young black males out here doing this shooting, gangbanging and stuff, all this killing. And it's because they're angry. They're angry because their father's not there. I know exactly why they're doing it. They're angry. My youngest son will not admit, but he is angry. He's angry because he won't admit, but he's angry because his father wasn't there, and he's angry. And I know that's why he's angry. And it breaks my heart. And so when I speak, I don't come from a place of judgment. I come from a place of being there and knowing the pain and everything that comes with single motherhood. It's not cute. It's not a flex. It is nothing cute about being a black single mother. It's nothing cute about it. Statistically, we don't make as much money. You've seen the video where Taraji Henson was complaining about they don't even want to pay him nothing in Hollywood. That's in every industry across the board. And they don't want to pay black women nothing. And then we got to put up with systematic racism. I had to leave 2 jobs because of racism. And each time I left, I had to go to a lesser paying job. So you got to deal with racism, discrimination, and it's heavy in the workplace. Then that's a conversation that we don't have more. Okay? Black women don't make as much money as their white counterparts. We're most likely to be in poverty. Statistically, we're more likely to raise our children in poverty. It's very detrimental. Being a black single mother is very detrimental. It breaks you down. It breaks you down in all areas. Somebody said that being a single mother is traumatizing. It's trauma. And I think in a sense it is. you know? And our marital rates are low. We only got like a 30, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we only got like a 37% marital rate. Black women do. Because once we have children and don't let it be by more than one father, our men are not interested in marrying us. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, when we don't have children, it's hard for us to get married. But it makes it even harder when we do have the children, because most black men are hollering that they don't want to come in and help raise another man's kids. So our marital rates, our likelihood of getting married drops after we have children as a single parent, after we become single parents. I mean, the percentage is a little shaky without the kids, but it's even more. Our likelihood of getting married goes down even lower after we become single mothers. I gotta keep it 100 with you, and it's detrimental. And the more children you have, the more, most likely 9 times out of 10, you're in it for the long haul. Because I say I'm not sure if I want to get married at this stage in life, but when I was raising my kids, I wanted to marry. I can't lie to you guys. I wanted to marry. I wanted to find a blessed husband for me and a father figure for my sons. I wanted that. I wanted that so badly. I didn't like being the head of the household. I did not like making all the decisions. I didn't like it. It was rough. It was a hard life. And I struggled and I suffered. You know, there's all different types of suffering. And I suffered for many, many, many years. People don't realize it. Okay? Even the people that's closest to me, family members or whatever, do not realize how much that affected me all those years. It was hard. It was hard. It hurt me. I was hurting so bad. And like I said, I take responsibility for my part in it because I put myself in that situation. Even though both of my sons are a blessing, yes, I know I put myself in these situations. Because I thought me and my oldest son's dad was going to get married. But, we didn't. Okay. It is what it is. So, I mean, I'm coming from a place of, I did this. I went down this road. I don't want to see my other young sisters coming up behind me making the same mistakes, because it's like I know that they're gonna suffer, and I know the children are gonna have to suffer. And so we gotta, how do we change the cycle in our community? How do we learn to have stronger families in our community? How do we turn it around? How do we change it? Do we get to the kids when they're in elementary and talk to them, mentor them? How do we change the cycle? How do we make these changes? How do we change this vicious cycle in our community? How do we change it? That's $1 million question. How do we change it? Because it's a vicious cycle, and it's a terrible cycle. So I'm not there coming from a place of judgment, but I'm coming from a place of how it affects our children, how it affects the children. It affects girls too. I grew up without a father, and I didn't know what to look for, as far as a man, how a man's supposed to move. I didn't really know. I know now, trial and error and just getting older, and observing things. But when I was younger, I had no idea because I didn't see that. I grew up in a single parent home, and to tell you the truth, um, there were single mothers. Um, I seen black women doing everything growing up. I seen this, to be perfectly honest. I seen black women doing it all, and that's what I seen. Okay, I didn't get the opportunity to see how a real man's supposed to move, and how it functions with the mother and the father. My father was there for the first 5 years of my life. Unfortunately, I don't remember that. I had no memory of that. I literally have no memory of my father being in the home because he left when I was 5. So I didn't, I grew up not knowing how a man functions, how things move in a household, a two-parent home. And I see my mother doing it all. And she struggled, you know. Even though, yes, she provided a good roof over our head, we never had to go hungry. My mother made us shake by the grace of God. But she still struggled for many years. And then I struggled, for many years. And I don't want to see that for the sisters coming up behind me. I don't want to see them going through that. So that's why I do these videos talking about single mothers and stuff like that. I don't want them to keep repeating the cycle over and over and over and over. Because ultimately it does affect our children. It does affect our children. And that's why I advocate abstinence until marriage. I'm an advocate for strong black families. I'm an advocate for black women making sure that they're financially stable and having a strong marriage mate that is a good man. He's got good character, and he's going to be a blessed husband to you and a blessed father to your stable father to your children. And I know there's no guarantees. Okay? Or, foregoing motherhood altogether. But if you're going to have children, make sure you bring the children into the best possible situation that you can bring them. Do the very, very best you can to bring the children in the best situation that you can bring it. Because it's to everyone's benefit. The mother benefits. The father benefits. The children benefit. The man ain't all bitter because he got to drop you some child support. Right now, as I speak, my youngest son's father is mad at me. He hates me because he was put in jail a few times because of child support. And the system put him in jail. I didn't. But right now, as I speak, he hates me because of that. But it boils down to this. It boils down to doing things God's way. If you do things God's way, we won't have these problems. We gotta do things God's way. That's what it all boils down to, is doing things God's way. Because the father doesn't have to suffer. The mother doesn't have to suffer. And the children don't have to suffer. Okay? You see how that works? Everybody benefits when you do it the way God say do it. And you get married, and you got the mother, the father, and the children. Everybody benefits. It's a win-win situation. The woman benefits, but she don't have to do everything by herself. Now, I know they talk about married single mothers. Sometimes they do. But if she has a loving husband, notice I said loving husband. If she has a loving, God-fearing husband that cares about her, he's going to do whatever he can to assist her, okay? And in a situation like that, everybody benefits. The father benefits. The mother benefits. The children benefit. Everybody benefits in it. I've seen families like that. I've witnessed families like that. And everybody is it gonna be perfect? No. But the daddy ain't gotta be worrying about dropping child support and getting money take out of his check and going to jail for child support for multiple baby mamas. Mama ain't gotta worry about everything being on her and having to work and struggle to take care of kids with no father in the home. And got to balance both working and raising kids, which is a terrible balance. I talked about that in another video. The children don't have to worry about growing up without the benefit of two parents in the home. They have two loving parents in the home. And they get the opportunity to see how a home functions with both mother and father. And it puts them, particularly our black children, it puts them at a better advantage. It puts them at a better advantage. They're more likely to go to college. They're most likely to become successful. Now, are there exceptions? If some children are raised in single parent homes and they're still successful? Absolutely. There's always exceptions. But in most cases, if the children grow up in a stable two-parent home, those children, they grow up to be more successful. They grow up to be more confident. They have a better self-esteem because they have two loving parents. They're most likely to get married and have a stable home family themselves because that's what they seen growing up. You feel me? So how do we change the cycle in our community? How do we change this vicious cycle? That's the $1 million question of this single parent home, black single mother home epidemic. And that's the reason why I talk the way I do on my channel. I want better for the young sisters coming up behind me. I want them to be smarter. I want them to be smarter. Because my two nieces, I'm very proud of them. They didn't go down that path. And I'm very proud of them. I'm very proud of them. If they looked at me as an example, I ain't mad at them. Because that's what I wanted them to do. I'm looking at what Aunt June going through. I ain't going down there. Nah, I'm good. And that's exactly what I wanted them to do. And I'm proud of both of them. Both of them are doing great, you know. And they didn't go down that path, you know, a single motherhood. But they were both raised in a two-parent home, too. So that does make a difference. I'm telling you, it makes a difference. So, yeah. So that's what I had on my heart to say, you know. I was going to do a video talking about something else. Oh, I was going to talk about doing another video talking about the Simone Biles situation. But Simone Biles is married. She's married. People talking junk. But she's married. And she ain't got no babies outside of marriage. So talk junk about Simone Biles all you want. But at the end of the day, Simone Biles is married. Is what it is. And I pray and hope that she stays that way. So, hit me up in the comment section. I got to do these videos sometime where I just got to get some stuff off my chest. I got to get some stuff off my heart. So, I got to get in the store. So, hit me in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are. What are some of the solutions in our community? How we can change this vicious cycle of single parent homes and our children growing up without the benefit of a father? Well, we got to do things God's way of staying till marriage. You know? We got to turn it around. All right, hit that notification bell. Till the next video, you guys be blessed.